Amit, good morning. Oh, sorry, it's good afternoon, Amit.
Good afternoon.
And today is November 20th, 2024, and we are here recording after a long, long delay. So long that we forgot if it was morning or afternoon. A long, long delay of the Khel Khel Men. And it's November 20th, elections are over, the year is ending. Suddenly, these new year-end displays are out on our streets. But I also feel, along with the end of 2024, we are also seeing the end of some of our favorites.
Yes, some absolutely. And the biggest news is, of course, Rafa the Great, correct? I think
Yes,
everybody will miss him. I am a Federer fan out and out. During the rivalry days of Federer and Rafa, I always wished he will lose and Federer will win more, but I don't think so. Anybody is better than Rafa as a human being, and we have all cheered for him. We'll miss him. Maybe choke up a little bit. We are choked up when Fed left. So it was phenomenal. And look at their friendship, man. Two different countries, individual sport means they will not play with each other, though they did one Laver Cup together.
yeah.
Fierce competition. I think even you saw the Federer's message for him. Here he
Yes,
talked about that
almost
initially I
Rafa.
always kind of hated him or did not like him. But what great friendship. A bromance at its best. I don't remember any two fierce competitors at the peak together, biting at each other, becoming such close friends.
Absolutely. And I think the one that I could think of, perhaps not in the same way, but also kind of their countries were fierce competitors and still enemies, unfortunately, was Gavaskar and Imran Khan.
Yeah.
And they had, and obviously in their case, a lot of the friendship happened in county cricket where they played close to each other. But in a year where we've had a very difficult political process with so much of hatred among two sides and all these things, seeing competitors, like you just said, fierce competitors, being so close to each other and in the last days, wishing each other success and kind of being there for each other was very inspiring for us.
Absolutely. But it means you can still compete, leave everything on the court, and be a great friend off the court. What a great example.
Absolutely. Now, as we talk about farewells, we also looks like we have a few people who are coming back.
Yes, the prime example, one a good example, one not so good example, if you want to really look at that. One prime example, Lindsey Vonn. She retired, I think she is 40 now. So she retired just before COVID. So around 5-ish year back at 35. Think about this. For knee, she does Super G and slalom and all. Super Gs, you can reach the speed of 80 miles an hour at some sections. That's huge. Human being going down that path. You need strong knees to turn and twist. Her knees were failing. She retired, correct? 5 years of pain knees in her life. This year she went for knee replacement. 6 months later she is doing super G's again. She's so good. She's coming. I don't know what kind of a surgery that did. Hats off to the medical technology. A person who retired 5 years later says my knees are good to go down 80 miles an hour. That's crazy.
Well, I hope her return, and I know that she's in it for a longer time, not like a one-off thing. Her return goes better than the one-off return that we just saw of Mike Tyson.
Okay, so I shouldn't laugh, but I saw the fight. That
Oh,
was more a joke rather than a fight because it was painful at the same time. Personal issues aside of Mike Tyson, we have seen him in the peak, correct? Including
Iron
biting of
Mike.
the,
Iron
sorry,
Mike.
Iron Mike. Remember, he did one big, Mike Spinks was the guy who was the guy he did for 7 seconds
Seven
or
seconds, yeah. Yeah.
7 seconds.
Leon's brother, Michael Spinks. Yeah.
Yes, so they went all. And now he was not even a shell of himself. The level of that fight, it doesn't even happen in the local boxing rings. The level of boxing which was going up there.
Yeah.
So it was
And
a little painful to watch.
the saddest part was not just the fight. My son went to see it with some friends. How he suddenly got into this thing. A friend of his is really into boxing.
Hmm.
But I don't know, there's this clip that was doing the rounds on WhatsApp about this little girl asking him about his legacy.
Okay.
See that? Where?
I did not see that.
Okay, so he says, Tyson says, you know, when you are dead, who cares about your legacy? In essence, I mean, he says a lot more, including drop the F-bomb to that little girl who was like, says, that's a question, that's an answer that I've not heard. I mean, I have to give it to her. She has so much of chutzpah on that, give her such a great response to that. But Tyson's thing was, you're going to be dead. When you're dead, your legacy, no one cares. You're buried 6 feet under. That was the saddest, most depressing thing I heard. Obviously, we all know that. But knowing Tyson and knowing his history, and I have some sympathy, but also at the same time, I know the guy has done a lot of, unfortunately, very bad stuff.
Yeah.
And for which he's been punished and he's gone to jail. But it's a complicated person. It's an icon, but unlike Lindsey Vonn or Rafael Nadal, he has a very complex legacy. So the fact that when he talks like this was sad.
Because the sports, for us, people who are into sports, for us, those are our models. Those are our leaders in the society for us. We follow them. How can anybody say if you are dead? Means he doesn't want even to be a role model or teach anybody anything. Correct.
Yeah, and in a year when suddenly elections and those kind of the men and boys thing become a little bit of apparently become a thing, it's kind of a little bit sad to hear that. You had one other thing that you were telling me about on the topic of something a little bit cheerier and funnier.
You're another legend, Brazilian legend you're talking about, I think.
Yes, I am.
There was a charity for peace match recently where the legends of 1998 and 2002 Brazilian soccer team were on one side. And then when their match was going on, very peaceful, no tackling, but great passes were going on. Suddenly, Kaká, one of the greats, got whistled for a yellow card. Everybody shocked. Everybody looked at her, and he went to the lady referee. It was a lady. What is going on? He was not fierce. He used to be much more fierce 20 years back. As laughing, she said, "No, I just wanted a selfie." She takes out her phone. First of all, she's carrying a phone in the middle of a match, takes out her phone, clicks a selfie, and a beautiful selfie because he's smiling all over that. So it was, she called a yellow card for a good thing. It's a charity match, so everything is good, looks like.
Well, at least it's something funny and cheerful to end with.
Absolutely. That was a weird news. I loved that news.
So, all our 4 episodes so far, we really didn't go much into cricket. So let's go deep dive into cricket a little bit. So we've had one series for India that just got over. And, obviously we end up talking a lot about Indian cricket, and Indian sports is primarily Indian cricket. That's a whole other matter. We talk a lot about Indian cricket, and we had a pretty good win in the series win against Bangladesh. And then New Zealand came. And let's just say things did not go as planned.
They came, they saw, they conquered in a big way. I think that was shocking. I don't know if there any reason we can attribute. We can talk about so many things. Complacency being one, overconfidence, cockiness, our old guard becoming real old or not delivering, or they were living in the comfort. We won a World Cup this year, so we cannot be touched. IPL retain. Remember who will be retained and what will be their retainer contracts for going on at the same time. So they are from Rohit to Virat to every player except one or two.
Pant,
KL Rahul, Pant, everybody had that contract on their head. What will be the money? What's the negotiation? They were probably sidetracked. Look at, and we will talk about IPL in a minute. And I want to also bring up too much cricket going on. So let me ask you something. June 29th, the World Cup ended. Okay. In the World Cup year,
the T20 World Cup.
T20 World Cup. So in the World Cup year, generally, you go back, there will be a little lull in cricket for some time, say in soccer or any World Cup. So from July 1 to now, 4.5 months have happened. How many only international cricket matches, tests, ODIs, T20s have happened in the world?
30?
No. India was no, not 30. You're talking of only probably tests or something like that.
Sorry, you said tests also. I was just talking about T20Is. Okay.
But T20I is not for India, not for India. I'm talking of
Everybody.
everybody
Okay.
in the world.
So test one day T20Is for everybody. So in that case, probably maybe closer to 100, maybe over
Yeah,
100.
a triple A, 323.
My God, I thought it'll be just over 100. Okay. Wow.
In a 4.5 month span.
My
Okay,
God.
now I understand T20I doesn't have 12 or 15 teams, it has 100 plus teams. So there's a lot more happening. India this year in
Oh, you're
20
talking about the associate countries also then.
associate because
Okay. All right.
their T20Is. But India itself has played 26 T20Is this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic record, by the way, 24-2, best
Yeah.
ever for any country. 11 tests, only 3 1 days. So I don't know what it means for the ODI's future. I think that's one format which is probably getting squeezed out and limited to World Cups only every 4 years. But too much cricket going on, and 23 tests tests are becoming good, which is good. We love tests, but I don't know if India flops with the current crop of Rohit and Virat specifically, who is the champion of test for last 10 years. Once that crop goes away, will India be a powerhouse in test? If India loses a powerhouse, will we be interested in playing tests?
And one other thing I'll say, the tests are not lasting the full 5 days anymore. So you could make the case that even though we have tests, they are not like as tough or as taxing, maybe taxing is the better word, as taxing as they used to be.
Absolutely. That shows not only physically, maybe we may be mentally. The temperament is not there. Sticking on the wicket is not there. We were our backs to the wall in New Zealand test. We still did not even try to defend.
Yeah.
The Sarfaraz Khan, after a century, you saw he coming in.
I saw it live.
Everything, sweeps a full toss, second or third ball, it gets out.
And he survived one before that.
I'm hoping that he is not doing on his own. Somebody has told him, you go for your shots. Because if he did after Gambhir or Rohit told him to play nicely, he should not be in the team. But if he was told go for his shots and he got out, he should not be kicked out of the team for that because he did what you told him to do.
And I see this, by the way, I see this a lot in these difficult pitches where people are told, play your natural game. Harry Brook for England, Stokes. I don't know if you saw Stokes getting out in Pakistan. The stupidest shots. No. Be your natural self. I'm like, come on, this is test cricket. Don't be your natural self. So this like I tell you, Amit, your exam is coming up. Amit, be your natural self.
Yes.
Watch TV.
Watch TV. The natural self is follow sports 8 hours a day. Yeah.
Anyway, very depressing. By the way, I had to, and I think I was telling you this, one other little quick trivia thing. The last time that New Zealand won anything in India was in 1988. Now, 1988, that series, I remember it for only one thing, and not that test victory of New Zealand, because in those days, everybody would come and beat India. It was that in the one-day matches in which India won, the series India won, in the Baroda one day, Azharuddin scored a century of 62 balls, which was a world record at that time. And I, in my life, could not even ever imagine that somebody could actually make a century of less than 100 balls. And now this guy makes... So at that point, I think some people had made it. But I never thought an Indian cricketer could do it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Azhar makes it in 62 balls. And then, of course, the record lasts for a little bit. And I think Sehwag beat the Indian record after that in 11 years later.
And now 62 balls. If you play 62 balls in a T20 and don't score a century, you're out of the team.
You're out of the team. And I was watching recently, Sanju Samson's those 2 innings, the 2 centuries that he made. The one against South Africa very recently, and then before that, earlier in the summer against Bangladesh. And the guy was making centuries of 40-odd balls. And and there was I thinking 62 balls. My God, the guy must be really...
That is the only format where we should tell people go for your shots all the time.
Yeah.
20 overs, what will you do with preserving your wicket?
Yeah,
go for
exactly. It. You don't get extra points for winning by, scoring the runs on 1 wicket lost or 9 wickets lost.
Yes.
Anyway, so very disappointing, and I agree with you. I think the fact that we got out to their spinners, and well, one test we got out to first test in Bangalore, we got out to their fast bowlers, and the fact that our legends did not do well on the topic of legends, and overall, I think for Gautam Gambhir, pretty bad. This is the first serious opposition. I still don't take Bangladesh as that serious of an opposition, though in India, I think they are definitely a much stronger team. But yeah, it was very disappointing, which makes me a little bit, not a little bit, very, very concerned about the upcoming Australia tour. But before that, you wanted to talk a little bit about other things too, other cricketing things, or do you want to go straight into Australia?
No, Australia, but I want to do the WTC prospects before that.
Yes.
So let's look at WTC prospects. The main series, first of all, right now, 5 different teams have a chance to make the WTC final. Australia, India on the top, right, followed by South Africa, Sri Lanka, and New Zealand. Okay. Yeah. Only these 5 have a chance, others have no chance. Yeah. So let's look at these series. South Africa has 4 tests coming, all in South Africa, 2 versus Sri Lanka and 2 versus Pakistan. Sri Lanka has one more, 2 tests versus Australia. Yeah. So I doubt Sri Lanka can do anything in this. So Sri Lanka is pretty much toast. New Zealand has 1 series in New Zealand versus England, 3 tests. If England beats it or 2-0, if third being draw, New Zealand is also out. So it comes down to South Africa.
That makes England in? Does it? I read some of that.
England is way back. England. So remember, the number of points, it's not about number of points. It's about percentage of points. For a South Africa, they are only playing 12 tests in the whole WTC cycle. So each test is worth around 8.5% of the points, correct? England will be playing 22 tests. Each win is only 4.5% of the points. India is playing 19, around 5% of the points. Yeah. So one win of South Africa is much bigger, and so is one loss than India's and England. So that's a WTC is a little convoluted that way.
I didn't realize that. Okay, got it.
Because the way the structure is after the series, if India wins all tests, all say 19, and South Africa wins all tests, let's say they are not playing each other, okay? They both win all tests. We both will be joined first.
Yeah.
Because just because one is playing more, one is playing less, should not go against them. Yeah. That's the logic here.
Oh, so they don't have a tiebreaker of number of wins or something like that?
No, not number of tests and number of wins. There is a net, there's another tiebreaker they have put in. Okay. But that will not be required because one draw here, India's one draw is small points. South Africa's one draw is big points because less number of tests, same logic, and everything goes haywire. And then if you play each other, the head-to-head counts more. Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot. So now, can India, there are 2 questions. If India beats Australia easily, yes, we make it. The worst India can do and still make it, I did all the permutation combinations, is India losing 1-3-1. 1 win, 3 losses, 1 draw.
Okay.
But that means England beats New Zealand, okay, and Sri Lanka beats South Africa in South Africa. Or let's put it other way. South Africa does not win a single of the 4 tests they are hosting.
Yeah.
In South Africa. Highly, highly unlikely. Okay.
And then remember, Sri Lanka had a great series of South Africa last time that Kusal Mendes made that double century, half century or something.
But in Sri Lanka, that was.
Yeah, that's
true. One is in Durban, I think one is in Kingsmead. The South Africa Pacers will make a mincemeat of Sri Lankan batsmen there.
I was just watching Marco Jansen, that even those T20s, my God, the guy, when he was bowling against, our informed batsman, the guy was so good. But yes, I completely agree.
So India's prospects come down to India winning the series. If India wins 4 tests, India was supposed to win 5 tests between New Zealand and Australia to be immune to every other result. So I was hoping India will win all 3 of New Zealand at home. And then India is left with either 2 wins in Australia or 1 win and 2 draws, and we could have easily made it. And 1 other result in our favor, and we make it. Now, because we lost that opportunity, Do you think India can win 4 tests or 3 tests and 1 draw?
No,
India is out of WTC finals.
no way. Which I think people are generally kind of accepting that. I just think our team has too many holes, and especially after this series loss, they are in disarray.
Now that is my saving grace now. I think the shocking. Now here is the IPL issue again coming up. First test, I think it will be a whitewash. If India, I don't think so India will hit 200 in any innings.
And that's been our tradition, right? First test, wherever we go,
We will, yeah.
It's our probation period, onboarding and
because we don't do warm-up games, because we play so much cricket, there's no
we don't have time
for warm-up games. And the thing is, on the day 4 and day 5, the auction of IPL is on. 80% of our players, including KL, Rahul, and Pant, are in the auction. And that's their livelihood. Do you think so they will be concentrating on the cricket, or with their agent talking to them where we are on the auction, or their mind is on the auction the whole time, correct? So that's BCCI. BCCI could easily figure out a right auction time when there's no cricket, or at least there's a tour game. Right after first test, we have a tour game.
Yeah.
Because tour game was important. India asked for it because it's a day-night tour game, followed by a pink ball test. So it's a pink ball tour game followed by a pink ball test.
Yeah.
So pink ball, surprisingly, I think Australia also has the same challenge. Think about it. All their top 4 or 5, from Cummins to Stark to Nathan Lyon and Smith, within next 3 years, 2 years, they will be gone.
Yeah.
So they can also get shocked the way India got shocked by New Zealand. Yeah. So there is a possibility, and I think we will lose the first test. The distraction of IPL auction will be over. Who will be Kohli's teammate, though he's not in auction, or Rohit Sharma's teammate, and strategy of everybody else will be over. In the tour game, we'll come together. I think we have a real chance of drawing the series 2-2 and a draw. Because I think Sydney is our hunting ground. We generally end up doing very well in Sydney.
Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, you have always done badly.
Yeah. And then I think we have a chance to win the pink ball test.
Yeah.
That will be 2, and Melbourne we end up draw.
Yeah.
Because the pitch is such, it can.
Yeah.
Though
Sydney
draw in today's area is tough.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sydney usually spins slightly. So
yes. So Sydney is the only one where I'm very confident. Other places I'm not, and it comes down to a team composition. Now, we had the chat or text each other on that. We need 5. It will be 5 specialist bowlers. Okay.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Yeah.
Now, 5 specialist bowlers will include 2 spinners or 1 is the key question. I still believe 4th spinner on India pitches and 4th pacers on England and Australian pitches is of no use, because even if Australia bats a full day, the 4th guy does not bowl more than 10 overs and do as a change to give rest to the other fast bowlers. We can easily have 2 spinners, both not Gambhir. Ashwin and Jaddu are much better batters. They are trying to put Reddy in that spot as fast bowler.
His name has come up suddenly a lot. Yeah.
He's a good batsman in IPL.
Yeah.
In Ranji also, on the pace attack, under stress, making a debut in Australia.
In those massive grounds.
I don't know what he will do there. So
he likes to hit also. I've seen him bat.
He likes to hit. But the sad part of all this, Sarfraz in this whole thing will be left out.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a spot with 5 batsmen plus wicketkeeper, who is a full batsman now, Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
I don't think
but I think they're also thinking of playing Jurel as a specialist.
Yes, so Jurel will come as number 6 probably, with Shubman Gill not there, so we may have Padikkal and
Rahul maybe.
Rahul
may be opening.
And Yashasvi Jaiswal open. 1 down Rahul, 2 down Kohli, 3 down Pant, and number 6 Jurel, and then Jadeja, Ashwin, and the 3 pacers. Yeah. 3 pacers, don't be surprised if Siraj is asked to sit out, by the way.
So who are your 3 pacers other than Bumrah?
Prasidh Krishnan is there, and then Rana is there, And if Gambhir has his, Gambhir really wants Reddy there.
Yeah.
And Gambhir may get him as another all-rounder because he doesn't trust the batters on the top. So we may have a batting lineup which goes up to number 9, but that makes our bowling a little weaker because Siraj has been literally off color in last couple of series. Not one, couple of series.
Yeah, he has, but at the same time, without Shami, it's a very, very raw bowling attack. So
very raw bowling attack.
yeah.
Because we have not news. We did not give people Akashdeep is also in the running, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. He's got a little bit more. I mean, I would put him above ahead.
I will also put him. I think it will be Bumrah, Akashdeep, and they may sit Siraj out and play one of the new ones.
Yeah.
Because Prasidh Krishnan has a lot of pace, though.
But Prasidh, I've seen him bowl once before in one of the, this not even the first test that he bowled, he was very bad. He was all over the place. He just did not know how to control. So
yeah, I was about to say he's pace but no control. And I was seeing the videos of the net practice. There were some videos there.
Oh yeah.
The only good bowls were if you do back of the length.
Yeah.
Because the red clay, Perth, and all those things. The moment you do up or short,
yeah,
you are screwed. So does he have a control to pitch one place time in, time again? We will have to see.
Yeah.
Ashwin will play. Between Ashwin and Jaddu, I think Ashwin will play just because 3 of their top 6 batters are lefties.
Yeah, exactly. So their batting also, I think they're also, I mean, trying to get a replacement for Warner. They're also having their own challenges, I think. So it's not.
I think that's where I think we should not. The way we had challenges versus New Zealand, we can see Australia having challenges too.
Yeah. And on the topic of Indian bowlers, don't forget 5 tests. So Bumrah being fit for all 5 tests, that's also a bit of a question mark. So.
That will be, but we have enough gaps. So my guess is he will not play in the tour game.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they will rest him and then play later on. And he may get off in Sydney because Sydney, you need a couple of spinners anyway. He may get it's not a Pacers wicket. He may get off in Sydney.
Okay. Yeah. Just sad all around because I'm, without him, as we saw in that last test against New Zealand also. Though not that he could have done much, but I think he could have at least gotten that 6th pair or 7th pair that made all those runs. He could have gotten them out because we essentially lost by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, all right. Enough about cricket. Before we go, quick one. Do you want to just talk about American sports?
Yes, before that, good news because you are sad. Indian hockey women, they didn't qualify for the Olympics. We were very sad. But there was an Asian Champions Trophy yesterday night. They won it in the final, today morning, our time, beating China, who is world number 6. We are world number 9. So that's a good win for us. So it looks like they're coming back because we have changed everybody from captain to everybody, new coach and everything, different perspective altogether. I like
after the World Cup in Japan, where we did really well, and of course, the team dipped a little bit, like all the changes that you just said. So this is hot off the press, you said, happened this morning. So
it happened this morning. Fantastic match.
Excellent. So something positive for us to look at from the Indian sports point of view.
Yes, absolutely. The disappointment of the Olympics, still we carry some of those. In disappointment, you remember we talked about Lakshya Sen, who won the first game of the bronze medal match and then completely collapsed.
And
since then, he has played 4 tournaments and he has gone out in the first match.
Yeah.
Means he mentally, you see him, you have no confidence that he can win. He's such a phenomenal talent. Somebody has to handle him on a mental side.
This is like watching our batsman bat in the 4th innings against Ajaz Patel.
Possibly. I feel sad for Lakshya Sen.
You're just waiting for when the wicket will fall. Yeah. That's sad.
American sports.
Okay, sports. So a quick one from my side. Very happy that the Warriors is having a pretty decent season, though they lost yesterday's game against Clippers. We are having problems with free throws. By the way, I learned that if your player misses two successive free throws, Chick-fil-A gives out free sandwiches to everybody. Everybody, as in you need to have the app. If you download the app, Chick-fil-A app, I did not know this. I just
I
read about
think
it in
so.
the paper.
It's in some local areas.
Local areas. So apparently
Look,
76ers also. No, Nuggets, I think, or Nuggets or 76ers. One of them has something similar.
so if their opponent team does it. So we
Yes,
have a
opponent team.
Predators team, we have a Taco Bell similarly in the hockey game. Whenever they score a goal or a power play goal, we get free queso with our order, something like that. So they do that a lot.
Anyway, so obviously I don't want to go to the arena and watch sports. But yeah, so at least they did well. But obviously our sadly Niners lost after a long time to a home game to the Seahawks. So we are, I don't know, doesn't look like an easy path to the playoffs. But congratulations to your team. The Lions are doing well. 9-1.
Finally, though we did do very well last year too. I'm talking of Detroit Lions. But this year, fingers crossed that it's much better than. So remember, Lions are one of the 3 teams left or 4 teams who have never even been to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Forget about winning a Super Bowl. Before last year, in the 56 years of Super Bowl era, they had won one playoff game.
My God.
Last year they won 2. So we have already tripled our playoff wins in 1 year. So this year they are doing very well. Absolutely. Last year your Niners spoiled our NFC Championship game. And Niners are a great team. As long as Kyle Shanahan is there, they will always be in contention because it starts with a great coach, then
Yeah,
players.
but
People don't realize that.
he doesn't seem to have a good supporting staff. So
Look,
people
I
start
have
to
told
come.
you earlier also, at the end of the day, have average quarterbacks won Super Bowl? Of course they have. Correct. We have Trent Dilfer winning first time with Baltimore, and then the Tampa Bay won during Chucky's time. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, those are rare. At the end of the day, you have to have a great quarterback.
Yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo, good. Brock Purdy, good. But none of them are the one where you say, if the game is on the line, I trust those guys.
True.
Has a great supporting staff. And now this year, because there's so many injuries, NFL is a sport of injuries, but I think Niners had more than its fair share of injuries this
Yeah,
year.
McCaffrey.
Great.
The McCaffrey is
But
back, but
same was the case with Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's injured. Everybody got traded away. I don't know how he won 9 games in a row. Nobody knows. Because the great quarterback inspires differently. Because he'll put the game on his shoulders and do it.
yeah. So I think Chiefs lost to the Bills, right?
Yes, he
final
was
quarter.
overall not very good. But
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter, he was fantastic.
Exactly. That's all that matters. A little bit like how Curry used to win for us. Yeah. In
Yes.
basketball. Yeah.
So that's
quick one.
yeah, go ahead.
One of the interesting things I learned, I mean, you're talking about the women's hockey, and I just learned recently that women's NBA and the finals happened recently, and the Las Vegas team, the Aces that won, that was the first win for a Las Vegas sports team. And I mentioned this because you mentioned Garoppolo briefly. Apparently it was, I just read about it. Because, see, the Raiders have just gone to Las Vegas. The A's, our Oakland A's, are going to Las Vegas. But I wasn't sure on the hockey front if in NHL they have won anything, because I know they have.
The first year of Lasers, first of all, ACs won last year. This year, New York
I'm
Liberty.
sorry, I meant last year. Apologies. I'm talking about last
year.
This year the Liberty won. Right? The New York Liberty won.
ACs did. Actually, it was an expansion team 5 years back. In the first year, they won.
Okay.
So they have, and now think about this. 6 years back, because of their gambling thing, no sports team was allowed there.
And now just
everything.
Now it's everything. Yeah. And I know recently I shared, sorry, you're going a little bit off script, but recently I shared with you guys the story from the Wall Street Journal about how the FanDuel and the DraftKings, their customers are on the NFL things are hitting back. They're actually winning more than the house. They're beating the house because of the fantasy sports. Very happy about that.
Absolutely. And we are talking about WNBA. Great season this year.
Yes.
I watched a lot. And thanks to few players, I think the new draft class was amazing. But let's not underestimate what Caitlin Clark did. Yes. Angela Reese also was phenomenal. But Clark herself took this sport from something to absolutely different level. The new the new TV contract is 3 times as the old TV contract.
Yeah.
It's nowhere close to NBA. Nowhere close. Okay. Clark is on her salary is $75,000 this year.
Yeah.
Think about it, $75,000. Even the rookies, the last undrafted rookie in NBA is 10 times that or 5 times that, correct? But endorsements are working in and she is doing good. But she is single-handedly taking a sport to a different level. So phenomenal. The impact of women in sports, look at her, how you can do it.
Yeah. And that I have to say, so if I may get on my soapbox for one brief moment, is that's really what we want. When, women in sports and you're supporting women in sports, talk about endorsement, prize money, facilities, the practice, the abusive coaches and the establishment that they're having to fight about. And that's really what we want women in sports. And when you say that you are for women in sports, let's focus on that. Let's get those things.
Absolutely. So, and because the game improved this year, I watched so many games on national TV of WNBA because the games were interesting, gripping. Exactly. It's not about, you can't compare everything. Men's game is more physical and they are hitting more slam dunks. It's about competition. If there are two equal teams, good quality, not too many turnovers, you like the game.
Exactly. Yeah. And ultimately, if you want to get audience is not going to come because there are women playing. Audience are going to come because it's an exciting sport.
Yes, absolutely.
And remember how in women's sports at one era, it was this very sexualized thing that, and they've gone past that. Now it's a game of skill and they got power, and it's not about what they're wearing and those kind of things anymore. In fact, this time in the Olympics, also so happy to see the women are pushing back against some of these, the way that they are being the jerseys or whatever their sports wear is. So yes. That's a really good thing. I'm glad. And by the way, on the topic of last topic on this abusive coaches, I was pointing out that recently Bela Karolyi passed away, and a man who's got an incredible reputation as a hard driving coach, obviously responsible for Nadia Comaneci. Then he and his wife defected to the US. Then Mary Lou Retton, the entire US team for generations of US gymnastics team. But unfortunately, somebody who was, I don't know if complicit is the legal term, but somebody who's aware of the other abuses going on, especially by their team doctor, Larry Nassar, and did not say anything. And this hard driving Eastern European sports culture, which I think we have all seen this when we were kids, and seen it as in read about it, obviously did not experience it ourselves, seen it on your kids. This thing in this day and age in America, in a lot of countries, just did not work. And he really made them, injured them, destroyed them, and a very difficult legacy for somebody who really has a great track record. But
it's a complicated legacy, as we call it.
Exactly.
You can look at his great wins like Nadia Comaneci, and on the other side, the whole injuries and the abuse and tough culture he created.
Yeah, a little bit out of time. And I think by the time the 2000s came, I think he was very much a legacy to start and end with a legacy. Anything else to talk about?
We should, our loyal audience, I want to request everything. One, please subscribe. Please subscribe our channel so that we get more subscription. We can do these more and more shows, number one. Number two, give your comments. We can only become better with comments. And tell us the topics you want us to cover so that we can do it on a weekly basis. We can cover each and every sport. And we hope to do more this and probably add trivia as we go forward in the future so that everybody is more involved. Looking forward to the feedback.
And we are planning on putting this up on Spotify also, which also has a comment section, just so that if you are on, sometimes on YouTube, you have to be a YouTube, sign on to YouTube to put a comment. So hopefully you'll be able to do that on other forums. We talk all about sports, but anything else that you did which was fun and interesting in this all the time we had since our last episode?
Yes. Circuit of the Americas called COTA is in Austin. Hosts the Formula One every year, one of the oldest circuits there. So fall break, me and my boys went to COTA in Austin to watch the game. Me, my younger one being the McLaren fan, and I being the Ferrari guy. And Ferrari did their first 1 and 2 after a long time. Not
Yes.
only they went to the podium, they did 1-2. So I was very happy. It's a fantastic experience. We walked around 20,000 steps each day. We were there all 3 days, sprint qualifying, and everything. Great experience. Everybody should do it once.
So my daughter, who suddenly has become a fan, a huge Formula One fan and a McLaren fan, and so she followed this, of course, on TV. And she was fortunate enough, thanks to a kind friend who got her tickets to the Singapore GP, the race, and she went there on her own. She traveled to Singapore on her own. So, and had an incredible time. She wanted us to take her to Austin. We said, "Ki bhai ho gaya is baar." Now, let's look at the new year and new challenges. But
Absolutely.
you'd be so jealous to know that you guys went. Well, on my side, I mean, on the live side, no sports viewing, but I did see a wonderful play. It's called King James, written by Indian-American playwright called Rajiv Joseph, who grew up in Cleveland. And hence, you can probably figure out sports, Cleveland-born, the King James has to be only one person,
Yep.
LeBron. And it talks about two friends. Obviously, it's not a play about sports. That's too obvious. But two friends who are connected through sports. They do not know each other and do not know each other. One of them is selling their ticket, their season ticket for the Cavs, and this other guy is buying it. That's how they get to meet, and they become friends, and they see the whole evolution of the team. LeBron, the rookie. In fact, they're selling the ticket. The guy's selling the ticket when LeBron's first rookie year. And so, well, there's this guy called LeBron. Let's see what he does. Two, LeBron, the legend. Well, before that, there is LeBron leaving for Miami Heat, LeBron coming back. And then LeBron, well, I keep saying LeBron, but the Cavs winning the NBA championships, beating my favorite team, and my home team beating the Warriors. Game that I remember, I was at the airport about to leave and following this, and with my boss. My boss is an Ohio person and a Cavs fan, and I remember that if you remember, the game ends at the last moment. And my boss says yes as we are standing in the line about to enter the plane.
Okay.
I remember that. But anyway, a great play. We watched it here in Mountain View at our Theatre Works. It's a very award-winning local theater group. Wherever you are, if this travel, the place always travel. If it's happening somewhere near you, please watch it. It's an incredibly good play. It's about friendship, about sports. That's what these are.
That's what connects people. Sports is one area, and here, no politics, no hate, only discussing sports, correct?
Yes. It's the scores, it's the data that matters, and it's the emotion that matters.
Emotion, frustration, happiness, tears, everything in sports.
Yes. And we, of course, got all of that in politics. But that's why we want a little bit of a safe space where we can discuss these things.
Yes.
Anyway, Amit, great to see you. And the next one we will do hopefully before the end of the year, so that we can do a year wrap up and then look at, I mean, we did a little mini wrap up about just our couple of sports, but there's a lot to wrap up and kind of what we're going to talk about, what we're looking forward to next year.
Yes, we have to do that.
Yes.
And of course, once more, let us know what you will like to hear in the comment section and we will do it. And thank you, Tipu, and thank you and bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone.